Should be live on YouTube.
Okay, cool. $20. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, 7-star citizens, and welcome to Answer the Call, your weekly podcast call-in show that myself and SaltEMike do so that we can air out all of your complaints and also all of your praises towards this game that we try to like to play, which I did have a good time playing this week. How you doing, Mike?
Not too bad. I had a decent time this week as well. And always, just a reminder, if you're not subscribed yet to the new Answer the Call channel on YouTube, make sure you guys are. So even if you're watching on Twitch and you're not going to be able to check this out through its entirety, you can see the VOD on YouTube later today. And then also, if you guys want to support the channel on YouTube, we have memberships now that are available. So if you want to go way above and beyond, being a caller or whatever, we have memberships. We're going to have a dedicated members show where a lot of the times I cut off people. And now I don't have to because it's about whatever you guys want to talk about. So
yeah, you guys get to be in charge.
Exactly. So it's whatever topic you want to ask us and just have the conversation be about that specific thing. And I don't get to say, I don't care.
Well, you do get to.
Yeah. But I don't get to say, I don't care. Let's move on to the actual subject of the show.
I don't care, but continue. Go on with what you were saying. This week, it was a big week. Once again, pretty much every week since like the second week of January this year has had like some amount of decent stuff tied to it. This week was a little different in that I felt like there wasn't a lot of new information this week, but we got a lot of clarification on things. We got some extra information about things like CitizenCon. One of the biggest new things though that we got this week was from the roadmap roundup.
We can get into that.
Earlier on in the week we had the roadmap roundup. We got to see that Modularity and the gold standard Retaliator are supposed to be coming in a 323.x. Myself and Mike seem to believe that it's likely going to be the Invictus patch that's sort of going to be targeted for, which makes sense timing-wise, although we'll get to if they'll make it to a 323.x before Invictus at this stage.
Who knows?
It's feeling weird. It's feeling tight-ish at the moment.
Yeah, there's so much in 323 that's not yet in Evo, or the things that are there are still in such a not ready for feedback state. It's so hard to guess when this patch is going to go wave 1 or whatever. But what about this excites you? Because I gotta say, when I saw vehicle modularity, I wanted to be excited, but reading the description, I'm just not personally, and I think it's due to the ship is my issue with it.
Yeah, the modularity isn't as relevant to me as gold standard Retaliator is, because, and I was talking to you about this yesterday, I love the Retaliator so much. If I have the option of using the Hammerhead or the Retaliator, like fully crewed either one, I'm choosing the Retaliator 9 out of 10 times.
That surprised me, because why? Because most people would default to the Hammerhead because guns. So what makes the Retaliator so cool?
Well, you see, the Retaliator also has gun.
Yeah, it's got how many turrets? 2 or 3?
It's got five turrets.
Holy shit! Okay.
It's got 5 turrets. 3 of them are double-sized 3s, and then the other 2 are double-sized 2s. So not the most damage output of any ship out there, obviously.
It's still good,
but yeah, it's still very decent. And then in addition, you get the 6 size 9 torpedoes, as well as just a significantly better maneuverability over really anything as large as that. Most ships that size can't really move at all.
Gotcha. And again, like I said, the reason that this didn't hit as hard for me as it maybe would have if the Caterpillar was getting a gold standard with this and they were going to deliver new modules, right? A Retaliator's a ship I don't think I can't remember the last time I've been in one. It's been years. So what's the layout of the turrets? Are you able, is it easy to see targets, things like that?
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
so
Okay, I'll have to
you've
check it
got
out.
you've got an amazing range of view, or however you want to
Field of
pronounce it.
view or
Field of view, yeah. You've got an amazing field of view from pretty much every single turret, because they're all, unlike the hammerhead, where you're kind of limited into like a 180-degree
yeah.
sideways sort of thing, which ends up being an issue depending on where your pilot's going. You've almost always got a full 180 around this way, every single turret. So
Yeah, it's just top and
yeah,
bottom is the issue. Like I can't
it's
look
just
up or
top and
down.
bottom. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which with like you'll have experience when being in any multi-crew ship, your pilot much better at doing top and bottom versus side to side. Like
Yeah.
putting like the way you want to operate a hammerhead is you want to put your turrets on the side, you're flying this way, your target's over there. So it's just a lot easier for people to do.
Yeah.
Um, and then it's obviously much more fun as a pilot on the Retaliator than it is on the Hammerhead, because on the Hammerhead you've just got a bunch of, I think, size 3s it comes standard with. So having the option of yeeting some size 9 torpedoes at Hammerheads is really fun.
Cool. I'll have to
And
try
then it's
it.
just the layout as well. The layout of the Tally is really cool because it feels like you're in a submarine,
Mm.
and there's something really nice about that, something really cool about that. And it sort of brings everyone together. So the reason I'm really keen about the gold standard is the thing that I'm most excited about, because the Tally has so many
Yeah, what are the issues? What are the current issues that will likely be resolved with this? Because again, it's a ship I just have almost no experience with.
So I would imagine that like there's a bunch of bugs. I would imagine those will change or be different or whatever. So I won't talk about those, but some of the really annoying things is the top and bottom docking collars. It's still got like on top and bottom. That the last time they talked about gold standard Aegis Retaliator, that's going to change docking collars on the sides.
Mm.
One of the reasons that was really annoying is because if you left the bottom one open and then you tried to get back in the ship through the docking collar at the top, you would just fall directly through the ship, and then you'd have to like do it again and stuff. It was really annoying and unintuitive. So that's
And with
supposed to
new
be changing.
EVA, very nice.
Exactly. Yeah. The bit of the vehicle modularity that'll be cool though for it is it's supposed to be coming with the cargo room module, which is essentially you just take out the torpedoes and you turn them into cargo bays. It's obviously the most simple for them, I would imagine, in terms of modularity, because all it is just a room with a cargo grid. Like I imagine that's not too complex.
I think that's also one of the
yeah.
reasons why I was kind of like whatever about it, is because
Yeah.
okay, the torpedo bay is already there, so making that modular is cool, but it didn't add anything to the game. And a cargo room is like, bro, we have how many cargo ships that's not going to make me want to play the ship. What you're telling me makes me want to play the ship now more than the modularity coming into it. So what I'm excited for is the Galaxy, actually.
Which I think you were saying this. I think that is some big hopium, honestly.
No, well, it is, but the reason, like, they told us that the Galaxy was going to be like after. Okay, originally Retaliator, that was going to be modularity. Then they sold the Galaxy.
M50 as well was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, because you take the engines out or something like that. Yeah. And there's a bunch, and we don't know what is and what isn't anymore. But when they sold the Galaxy, they were like, this is going to be the thing that we're going to work on modularity with. And then it's not, first off. So way to go, CIG, yet again. But I think that the modules that are there were more interesting.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be refining, cargo, and something else. Hangar?
I think a hangar. Yeah. And
the
like it's in the thumbnail for the video. The hangar was like, an exit, a proper exit hangar that the doors open. It felt right. Oh yeah, there's medical as well, and then crafting. Or I'm sorry, base building. So base building from last year in CitizenCon, but then there was like the mention of crafting in the store page of like that'll be a future thing. Yep.
I mean, if they we know that they're working on RSI ships. That is 100% thing. If they do go from this to another ship with modularity, I guess it would make sense to be that. Oh, you messed it up anyway, chat. Oh man, people in Twitch chat
No,
just. If only we put a bet on it, people could have won some channel points.
I know we should do a channel point thing. Fuck. Yeah, I just
yeah,
wanted
if they
to...
do, if they
Go
do
ahead.
move to another modular ship, I guess the Galaxy is kind of the next. But it is the one that I would expect the most next.
Yeah, given that they're going through the whole RSI ships or whatever, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I will also say
what we don't know is
that-
what modules they're gonna do either.
Yeah.
Because it opens up, like, the Retaliator can now have anything inside of it. They could do any module now. They just have to make it.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just
I believe
depending
they
on what
also
they wanna
talked
do.
about. I believe they also talked about medical and scanning for the Retaliator at some point.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that's not necessarily too far behind as well.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the Retaliator, for those that don't know, this is one of those features that got removed from the like roadmap like 2 years ago. The Retaliator was getting gold standard, and they were like, whatever, we're doing some other stuff. We're not doing modularity. We're doing the Hull C stuff because apparently that was a roadblock that they were mentioning for modularity. So that's back in.
The Hull C working was a huge thing to actually make this work. So yeah,
That's
I
what they
remember
said.
that now.
Yeah. So now that this is back on there, and I think it's one of those kinds of features that's probably likely to not get pushed back. It'll be exciting to see if they do in fact continue and give us modularity for the rest of the year. But it's a very in terms of slow starts for a feature, it's an incredibly slow start.
Yeah, because it's basically just adding a cargo thing. So it is.
Yeah.
The feature is exciting, and what it means, how soon it's coming, a 323.x patch, right, is obviously super meaningful and cool. But what the other modular, like just, I mean, a Caterpillar, the possibilities are endless with
That's
that
the
thing.
biggest one, right?
Right?
I feel like
absolutely endless.
In players' hands, the Caterpillars like modularity is the one thing that I hear people talking about all the time.
Yep.
And it's yeah. So
yeah, it's just why, like, it just, oh my god, having one cargo bay, a salvage bay, a crafting bay, like all the things it could be is what's exciting about vehicle modularity, not the 323 release for me personally. But
the gold standard, super excited for it, especially with like events like Xenothreat coming back and all these opportunities where you're actually going to want to use the Retaliator. Sweet, awesome.
Yeah, you make me want to check it out for sure. Screw the Hammerhead. It's Retaliator time for me and the boys. I think the next thing, maybe CitizenCon. Hammer that out since it's so far. It's 7 months away, right?
Yeah. The only last thing that I'll touch on the roadmap is they added some things into there from Evocati that we already know exist. So the creatures got added and the missions for the creatures got added. Cool. Yep. We were expecting that as of like 2 weeks ago. So
yeah, no surprise there. But CitizenCon, a bunch of stuff came out. We now know where it's going to be. It's called Manchester Central or something. I looked it up. 10,000 seats.
Yeah,
10,000 seats. I don't know how many they're planning on.
We did know that already. They had announced the location a couple, I want to say a month ago.
Oh, cool.
This is more, a little bit more clarification on how the days are going to work, which I have theories. We get to in a sec. And when they're going to sell tickets. The first thing I want to talk about with that, I saw a lot of people complaining about them selling tickets so early. Last year, they sold them super late. They sold them in August for an event in October. In terms of like event organization, that is crazy late. Yeah. This is normal. Selling them this early is super normal.
You have to buy plane tickets and hotels. Yeah. Like, not everybody lives in the UK. Whoever's complaining lives in the UK. Right? And the only thing they need to do is buy a train ticket or something.
Yeah.
So
there was that, but then the opening closing times. So they talked a little bit in there about how Saturday is going to be a super long day, Sunday is going to be a really short day, and I don't think it's a super big stretch to assume that Saturday is going to be the day with the majority of the presentations, where they're going to show features and they're going to show whatever.
And Sunday
I think they're going to end Sunday. Yeah, exactly. They're going to end Sunday early because it's going to be Squadron, and they're probably going to say, and go out to those computers right now for the rest of the day and go play Squadron in a demo or something.
In a
I
in a demo, I can maybe buy. I thought you were gonna say
yeah.
like it's out. I don't.
Oh no,
Oh
no, no.
no, I don't.
I'm sorry.
I don't know because for me, I feel like since we still don't have a release date, I feel
Mhm.
like it'll be the release date and then a demo. Yeah, I think that's probably
Yeah, yeah.
a pretty good thought process there.
Mhm.
So I can sort of confirm, very loosely confirm. Me and Level Cap will be back doing the thing,
Nice.
but I'm thinking depending on you and depending on Burks and depending on other because now it's not a situation where it's in the U.S. where all of my
Mhm.
like English speaking friends would typically be there. Uh, we'll see if we can like change it up and bring more people on. But I messaged him
Mhm.
yesterday because specifically he lives on the West Coast and this is in the
Yep.
UK and they're talking about doing it really early in the morning. And I was like, how are you feeling? Or do you still want to do this? And he said, oh, hell yeah, I want to do it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so we are loosely confirmed to kind of do a similar thing to last year, but maybe involve more people. Might be cool too, because then me and Level can get a break or something occasionally. It might be nice.
Just
Because
shifts.
yeah, exactly. So we'll see. But uh, yeah, excuse me. The 1 day thing is probably good, but it's also
Mhm.
like okay, they have less stuff to show than they did last year as
Like, of
well,
course.
which is like, how can they not? It
Yeah.
was 2 years of
Yeah.
stuff, right? Like, so that's not like a good or bad thing. I think
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
going to be, I think this is really going to be a more squadron focused, even though last year
Mhm.
was entirely squadron focused outside of some pyro things in a lot of ways. All of the content that they were
Yeah.
it was weird. It was, this is the squadron stuff that is going to relate to the PU. That was kind of what CitizenCon was. I do think a lot of this is going to be squadron. The one thing I am looking for, but can't find, this seems to be more of the FAQ than the actual thing. Yeah, okay. Let's go here. And this will probably bring up the regular page. Yes. Okay. Strap in, pilot, and prepare yourself for an interstellar adventure. This is the only like context clue that gets me interested. Is
Oh.
surely they're not going to do a jump to pyro again, right? So what this kind of tells me is there
Yeah, yeah.
another system involved,
I I uh,
or is it going to
I would
be
not
pyro
be
again?
well, that's the thing. I would not be surprised if it is a pyro again, but it's a pyro release. Like it's a, like it's a. I would very much imagine that when we do get 4.0, it's going like they're going to try to tie it to some big thing.
Yeah,
CitizenCon is the biggest thing they have. So uh I don't know, Mike. We might be going back to pyro.
yeah, it's definitely possible, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna hold on to like a little. Maybe they're gonna do something crazy because here's what we know about pyro and what they're capable of. They're capable of pretending that things exist that don't. So they can show us 4 different systems that don't exist and be
Yeah.
like, this is our intention in the next year or so,
Yeah. Yeah.
like they did last year. So they can do a jump to it. We now know that server meshing exists. You can jump
Hmm.
from one server to another. They can make a fake ass test level of Levski, uh, Nyx, Nyx, Terra, Magnus, all the
Hmm.
systems that connect to Stanton. They could just be like, we're going there. Check it out. We went from here to there, there, there. And
Yeah. Yep.
it's meaningless from a development standpoint, but they could just say that they did it or whatever, right? So it's
Hmm.
possible that's what we get is this is
Yeah.
a plan in the next year or so, these systems and locking them down and getting them done. You want to talk about the tickets? There's 2 types again.
I'll just say on that, it'd be interesting. Like, so last year during CitizenCon, we didn't get a like we got a bunch of small snippets of in-engine, in-game like gameplay through the different features, but we didn't get like a keynote gameplay thing last year. Um,
No, the
I
base
wouldn't be
building was
surprised
kind
if
of
they
like replacing
the
that last year.
Well, actually, I was going to say the Star Engine video kind of replaced that a little bit.
True.
That sort of gave those vibes, but we haven't had that for a couple of years, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do kind of exactly what you're saying. But they're like, all right, cool. We're going to show you what the game is like when you are traveling in between each different system. We're going to do a mission. This is what we envision the game to be like in a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever.
A 1.0 demo.
Plus here's base build. Like they'll show a base building concept like thing in there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get that.
Yeah, maybe because they're already talking to us about 1.0. Maybe it's their 1.0 plans or whatever, right? Chris is gonna get on stage again like 2018 and tell us what release is like.
Yeah.
In 12 years. But yeah, the tickets is sort of interesting.
Mhm.
A regular access, you get a swag bag plus digital things. Did you get swag bags last year?
Yes.
Cool.
Everyone, regardless
get?
of it. Yeah.
I don't know what anybody got. I forgot. Oh, you have some stuff.
I got this. I've still got it on my table. I have not cleaned my desk since CitizenCon.
Neither have I.
This.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
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 So I got that. There was the digital goodies pack, which was like the Dead Rigger Pyro shotgun as well as an armor set.
And that shotgun is OP.
I love that shotgun. It's so sick.
I don't have it because I didn't buy it. I
it's
meant
still,
to and I forgot.
As far as I'm aware, it's the weapon itself is still not lootable in game yet.
The ammo is.
The ammo is. The actual shotgun, as far as I'm aware, is not. But if someone has found that, correct me, please.
Cool.
But yeah, so you got that stuff. The premium ticket, I do want to talk about a little bit. I managed to convince someone to give me a VIP ticket last year. Yes.
This one sounds big
interesting.
Time.
This one sounds a lot better. So last year, it was you went to the LA offices. They did have literally like an open bar with a bunch of bartenders serving drinks and stuff. And they were doing office tours. Most people didn't get to do it because someone ruined it, apparently, is what I heard. Someone ruined it for everyone. But it was cool to just be in the offices and meet everyone. But it was way more people than I thought it was going to be. I imagine this year it's going to be a similar situation just at the new office. They talk about a venue, and they still talk about like office. So I don't know if it's here, but somewhere in the stuff they've talked about office tours.
I will.
Yeah, it's going to be the same case.
There is a lot more info out there. I will do my best to find it. It's actually going to be next to impossible.
There's just so much stuff, but yeah.
I will look. I will try and find it. But no, there's a lot more info that they shared.
They talk about like special guests are gonna be there, which like
Squadron. Come on, it's so fucking.
Yeah, I was
obvious.
gonna say, like it would be kind of crazy if they get like one of the big voice actors there.
I think Mark Hamill will be there. I think
Very
Mark Hamill will be there. Yeah.
I think we talked about when we did our CitizenCon debrief last year. We talked about probably the only reason he wasn't there last year was because of the SAG-AFTRA strike. So
yep.
Yeah.
I am scrolling to like look for dev things. Additional information on the event, including ticket prices, will be out tomorrow. I expect the ticket prices to be cheaper than last year. LA is stupid. LA is insane.
Yeah, LA Convention Center is nuts.
I expect the ticket prices to be cheaper. If they're not, that's crazy because last year was insane. Like it turned me off entirely to wanting to do that. Okay, I'm still looking. There was basically they were implying that you weren't just going to be at the studio. There were shuttles taking you around. You were going to multiple different places. Like the VIP thing seems like, the CitizenCon Gala is a separate off-site event taking place the day before CitizenCon. Tickets to this event will be extremely limited. Oh no, that they just reposted on that one. But yeah, there was some additional information there that it was going to be a bit crazy.
Yeah. if you are a person that does want to go to the VIP stuff, it was cool last year, and I do think it is worth going if you're a big super fan of SE. Do keep in mind last year the VIP tickets, every single wave sold out in like 30 seconds, if that, in some of the waves. We don't know if there's a larger or less allocation this year. It's going to entirely depend on what their venue is going to look like. I would imagine it's going to be a little bit larger, but that's pure speculation. So it'll be hard to get the ticket. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna reveal to those guests whatever they're revealing at CitizenCon early. Obviously, the special guests, the separate venue, not the studio is where it happens, but then you get shuttled to the studio to explore the studio as well. I don't know. It's not something I would ever like care that much to do, and like you said, it wasn't that great last year. Basically,
I would have preferred to just hang out with creators that I had met essentially rather than go there. But
creators
that's an obviously
fans.
very different experience than other people will have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's cool. I mean, most people I doubt have ever been to the Manchester studio since it's so new. I've been to the LA studio. I've been to the Austin studio. So like, I wouldn't have been like, I wouldn't have needed to do it last year if I went or anything. But yeah, I would take a Bar Citizen over and chatting to fans and like fans of Star Citizen, not fans of me. That like just talking about Star Citizen with people, I would enjoy that more than most stuff. But yeah,
which you can do that at the VIP event, and I think it will be a very different atmosphere because they're doing it day before instead of like last year where it was the end of Sunday, so everyone was just exhausted. So yeah. But yeah, I think it will be a good experience. If you are looking to get those tickets, do it. And let me live vicariously through you and send pictures.
Yeah, true. Probably the biggest the last big pre-release CitizenCon potentially. Well,
feels like it, yeah. Like, but pre-Squadron hype,
yeah,
maybe.
I think we all probably assume Squadron holiday next year. Something like
probably,
that. So there'll probably be another CitizenCon right before release or whatever. But are you planning on going to this CitizenCon if you can?
It is going to cost $2,000 just in flights.
Yeah.
So it's very unlikely that I'm going at this stage.
That's insane. All right. Well, we'll stay in touch about the streams or whatever if you want to do that. But I'm not, because same thing. I don't like flying. It's so much money, and it just doesn't make sense from that standpoint for me. And I'm looking forward to an Orlando Bar Citizen soon, basically. Hopefully those are soon. We'll go to Disney.
I still think Montreal, please.
Yeah,
do a really Montreal like big thing. It'll be so sick.
I was really hoping Montreal, and then I'll just take the train up and go up there. But yeah, that was CitizenCon. That's what we know so far. Monday we'll hear the price, and yeah, fingers crossed it's not as expensive as last year. Outside of
Overdrive?
that, Overdrive, let's do it. Overdrive.
So Overdrive is continuing as we expected. However, there was a little bit of a change this week. A couple of days ago, excuse me, they have combined like Phase 5 and Phase 4. At least from when we experienced it on the PTU. So you've first got a mission that a lot of you guys will essentially be very familiar with, but with a twist, which is you go to the comma rays and you return them on. But now there's a bunch of mines in them, and you need to also fend off a bunch of vanguards that come and attack you at the same time.
And vanguards aren't the ship; it's the name of the group.
Yeah, it's just like the guards. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's like heavy fighters. I think Valkyrie is like the largest thing that will come and fight you during this. And this is an amazing mission for like 3 to 4 people. Any less than that, you may actually just fail just because of time, because there's just a lot of things to watch out for. Any more than that, and it starts to become really boring. But like that's gonna be the kind of nature of a lot of things. It makes sense that you can't just throw people at quests and imagine them to continue to still be very fun.
Yeah.
But I did really like this phase. I think it was a lot of fun. So that was really good. But they've then now combined that with the SPK phase, which is the most fun phase in my
It was so
opinion. It is so
surprising.
sick.
Yeah, like me and my group were doing this, and we are like, all right, this is okay. But it felt I guess. But then
Okay.
randomly, like the SPK mission pops up, and we were like,
Yeah.
what the heck? So it's titled Emergency at Korea. And I think I think a few creators did the first mission and was like, all right, no, I'm not doing this. So then stopped. Because somebody messaged me and was like, how was Overdrive? And they were like trying to do it.
Yeah,
and I was like, it was awesome. And they were like, what? And like, yeah, the Korea mission was awesome. They were like, what are you talking about? So I think they stopped after 3 and were like, all right, I'm done. That was the phase. But no, the next bit, like I was about to log off, and one of my group, like one of my org mates was like, yo, I have a Korea mission now. We're like, what?
Yeah.
So then he shared it. And this is where like one of, I've been complaining about the lore not really making a lot of sense or whatever. This was one of those first moments where it was like, okay, so we did the Kamare thing, and we realized that the Kamares were just a distraction. They're actually attacking Korea right now. So that was the whole thing. It's like, okay, so we did the Kamares to find out that it was a distraction. Now we go to Korea and kill these guys. Like it felt finally like there was, even though I read the lore, it wasn't voice acted or whatever, that there was a bit more there. It had a bit more depth to it, which was really great. So yeah, that was the mission description. And then, sorry for the spinner. Everybody knows the spinny bug. But yeah, and then this, for me, like this video is actually our entire process there. And NPCs got stuck in the walls for me a little bit. How about you? Okay, same. They were
no, I was
cracked.
gonna say we were in a like 10 server FPS.
Okay.
Which usually is like okay enough that NPCs are like half decent most of the time.
Yep.
And they certainly were. The
ones in the walls were insane.
Well, yeah, they've got wall hacks.
Yeah, the ones not in the wall were your typical NPCs, but the ones in the wall just decided they were pro gamers. It was crazy.
Oh, we were getting annihilated the second that they would spawn out of the elevators. They would just charge us immediately. It was nuts. The advantage of Oz servers, as always.
Yeah. So the idea, but I guess I should say the idea would be, something was supposed to spawn right here, and it didn't. One of the dev who made the mission.
Yeah, there's like a screen that's supposed to be there. Yeah.
Yeah, he was in the chat, and he was like, "No!" They were so upset, and then it did end up spawning eventually. So it was like the server, like caught up or something, because it's still not there yet. You could see it, but at some point while we're goofing around, it does spawn, and that's what you interact with first, and then that's how you hack back. You're basically removing the hack that Xenothreat was doing here, and I guess the assumption is they're trying to remove crime stats so they can.
You're downloading data specifically as well.
Yeah.
So you're downloading the data of the hack. So like, hey, what were they trying to do here?
Okay, gotcha. Because this is something that this is what we thought we were supposed to be dealing with.
Yeah, that's just some regular SPK.
Yeah, it wasn't. So we were like canceling. We were like, all right, we did it. No, we didn't. So it was that other thing. And then at the end, you reset the console or whatever. And it was really good because let me tell you something. If we were on a good server and the NPCs are how we would hope they would be one day, and somewhat you experienced, right? This will be a challenge, even for a group of my size that I think was like 6-7 people. It would be it would be a challenge. It was even like people went down in this.
We had 17 people.
Holy shit.
We almost wiped twice.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was insane. And that was, once again, like we only had maybe one area where there was like broken wall spawning guys. The rest of it was just, they just throw reinforcements at you when the server works for this mission. So it's like you need people to hold angles, really, is how you essentially want to run it. That's
exactly what I was going to say, because towards the end, that's what we were doing, even though we didn't really have to, but you could see that like, okay, so there's the example of the panel that you would interact with. We're already towards the end here, but that's what we were kind of doing is because they were spawning up top, but you could see there's Broken's right there. He's holding an angle. He's holding a door angle. So we kind of started doing that and catching them as they were coming out of the elevators because they were catching a few people off guard, but not really. So Yeah, it was constant waves. They were coming nonstop. It
Hmm.
never stops. So like even when you
Yes,
do the normal SPK mission, it they come in waves
I
of
believe it's
like
on a timer on normal
yeah,
SPK. Yeah,
yeah. But normal SPK like they'll spawn armored guys and then all of a sudden they spawn the guys just in the suits.
yeah,
So
yeah,
like it almost gets easier over time. This just was a constant wave of
yeah.
craziness, but it was a really good time. I really enjoyed the second part. As you can see, look, one of our
Yep.
guys got hit by the wall hacker. But
So
yeah, it was it was a great time. I loved it.
one of the reasons that I really enjoy it, and it has made me kind of happy that they actually started Jumptown this week, even though most people aren't running Jumptown,
Hmm.
is because Jumptown was running. It meant that there was inherently more people trying to get their crime stat hacked away, which means when you came to do this at this PvP location, the threat of PvP was heightened, and it was actually like a thing that could be an issue. And the servers that we were going to, yeah, there were people running SPK or locking down SPK, and it presented a bunch of issues. I love that. Like that, it is. That's a dynamic event. Is when you go, all right, cool. We're just going to send you off at a mission, but we have done it in such a way that you will encounter players, and that's going to create its own sort of aspect of gameplay. So I think this is a fantastic phase. Like I said, the first part of phase 4, you just need to not do with too many people, or it's going to be completely boring. But so many missions in the game are completely boring if you do it with too many people. The weird thing, though, is that when we did all of this in PTU, there was 6 phases, and this was phase 5.
Hmm.
So they've still said there's more phases coming. They said that this is supposed to be, once again, like a precursor to actual Xenothreat, a precursor to the patch as well, has been the implication. Does that mean we're going to get some surprise phases? Because I kind of feel like it does.
Maybe. I don't know, and I couldn't even guess what they could be. But
Mm.
we did get another surprise this week around Overdrive.
Oh, true. Oh, man, I
Yeah,
completely forgot about
yeah.
that.
That the middle armor here, they listened.
Yeah.
Maybe. Kind of, sort of. They listened.
Yeah.
When we're all excited about Overdrive from hey man, there's something to look forward to. There's something new, even though it's not a new thing. Like we basically did the Korea mission with people in this armor, right? In a lot of ways, not that big of a deal, but we did. There was something to look forward to. There was a reason to group up with people. Awesome. But then they tied this horrible thing of having to buy in on the web store with it, right? Very bad. Nobody liked it. Like anybody who was defending this, you're insane. This was a highly like people didn't like it, right? Most people did not like this thing that it had a buy-in associated with it.
Yeah.
And they decided to offer anybody who completes this the middle armor that's there. Not the right armor, not the left armor, the middle armor. Some people like the left armor. I know Croncy does.
I only like the left armor because it's a bigger logo. The logo on the middle armor is so tiny. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's silly. And then the logo on the helmet. A lot of people like the helmet on the right. I think so. I saw some people complaining on Reddit on Spectrum about the helmet on the right. And then it might have been Niku that responded and said, "Hey, like we want some items in the game to be like earnable, and you play the game, you get them, and you hold on to these things. You know, you'll be able to get this helmet again. It is rare. Like I never saw this helmet in any of the missions that I did, to be honest. Any of the guards, I don't think I ever saw them wearing this helmet.
I've never seen the helmet. I have seen the chest and whatnot, but
yeah. So
never
apparently it's like a rare thing, which is cool. But the middle armor will be in your web store hangar, right? So that the same thing that they've been doing with everything. One day I hope that's not the way things are, but hey, wipes happen. This is how we prevent those from happening, right? So they listened. So in some aspects, I will say thank you for listening. I'll let you take the rest because I definitely have I'm not going to I'm not perfect. Surprise. I'm not going to be super positive about this one.
Yeah. So when we talked about the awards a couple of weeks ago, I was very vocal that I didn't care too much that the award was what it was, but I still wanted more.
Yeah.
and they did that. Cool, sweet, awesome.
Awesome.
Fantastic. It is definitely like there's a lot of times where CIG do things like this where it's a bit of an iffy of like, is this originally intended? Is this a response? This is 100% a response.
Yeah.
Especially because they, in addition to this, they also made they've changed the F7A Mark II rental to be 7 days rather than 3.
Okay.
So it's definitely like, yeah, it is 100%. All right, we messed up. We'll add this stuff in there. It's a good sign that they want to do this because we've talked a lot, even really since like August last year, we've talked a lot about more in-game rewards being meaningful in some way or the other. So just keep doing this, and I think it is a good sign that a large majority of the community, I think, or at least the vocal majority of the community, have been very positive about this armor coming in as a reward.
Absolutely.
So as long as CIG, well, I imagine they see it. So as long as they take that to heart and continue to do this, cool.
Exactly. Like, so you and I are on exactly the same page. The only thing they can't do is this. They can't come out with an event that is a buy-in only, and then 4 weeks later, that's when the response happens. So not only did you hear the response from the community that was entirely negative, but you waited for people to buy the ship, then make the response. So for me, the only thing is I will praise you. I will round of applause praise you every single time you do an event that has no ship sale associated with it and a buy-in. Well, it doesn't have to have no ship sale associated with it, but not in the egregious way that this one is.
Not in this way.
Yeah, not in this way. But that has a reward for in-game actions and an in-game reward on day one. If you do it on day one, you're going to hear endless praise from me. They're going to call me Sweetie Mike or whatever they do anytime I say anything good.
Softy Mike.
Yeah, that one, like all that stuff. I will praise you till the end of time if that's what you do. But if what they can't do is this. They can't be continuously making the obvious worst decision when they know. There is no way that they don't know that would have not gone well with us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then respond to it after. Like, sorry.
Yeah. I don't think there's much more to touch on with the Overdrive event. That kind of like goes over everything that happened this week. But I do want to slightly connect it to one thing, which is they had a great April Fool's joke this week with the Misk Raptor. In my opinion, super hilarious.
It was good.
The one thing that there's a thing about it that gives me so much hope and love for CIG, which is there's always the, like CIG only care about money. If they really only cared about money, you know how much money they would have made if they actually had the Raptor pledgeable? Are you kidding me? I would have bought 5, and that's not even a joke. This thing is so damn silly and fantastic and is like the perfect meme thing.
It's not even
CIG, if you want my money, just do it.
It's not even that silly when you really think about it.
So yeah, this is the Misk Raptor. It has 2 size 7 cleaning attachments or something they describe.
Cleaning off,
I love this. It's so good.
Cleaning off your base one day, like wear and tear. Well, rip wear and tear now on my landing pad. Yeah, exactly. So like you could totally do salvage gameplay with this thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a goofy, funny thing, but. Yeah, you could definitely do stuff like this, and people would play this gameplay. That's what's crazy about it.
100%. I would play it all day. I've seen the inside of those pyro stations. They need a couple of Misk Raptors to go in there and move some stuff. The other good thing about it, Xylo confirmed that it is a actual. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say if you haven't yet, please make sure you hit the buy button, and then you get the forum badge if you do.
But yeah, Xylo confirmed that it is an actual in-game asset.
Yep.
My big hope is that it'll be an actual drivable asset. Even if it does nothing, just let me drive this thing around like random landing zones and stuff. I love it. I like it when this happens. It's cool.
So there is a chat message on Twitch that we have to say. The reason we did not get it is because it's not beams. True. It
True.
makes sense. If it was
Yeah.
beams, we would have it. It's too
Yep.
physical. It makes too much sense. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
It's far too current day.
Exactly.
Oh my god, there actually was so much stuff this week. I keep forgetting. It was a lot of stuff, but it was a lot of like more minor stuff than the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
ISC. We got to see. Obviously, it's been in Evocati, so if you've been in Evocati, you've been able to see it. But we got to see publicly what the star map and the Moba glass looks like. The general aesthetics, in my opinion, and I haven't been able to check it in Evocati, so I've only got ISC to go off of. In my opinion, the general aesthetics are significantly better and much more in line with the aesthetics of everything CIG have been doing recently. But then, of course, we have the inability to read any words. Is continuing to be a thing. So there apparently, I did see that there was a dev response to this example specifically, that they are doing things to make things more readable on like bright backgrounds and stuff like that. But I think like they just need to change the like colors of words and just give them like shadow and stuff.
I don't get it.
It's really
Why
weird.
is this so difficult?
Because
Like-
this is a deliberate choice, right? Like it has to
Yeah.
be. Once again, obviously they're like, hey, we can't read it. We fully can't read it. Sure, that's a fix that they're going to do, but like this issue will come up again.
Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
how many years have we been like, yo, this sucks?
Yeah.
Like they
Like
won't
make things readable, please.
Yeah, like we're not asking for you to make the best game in the world in this case. I just want to be able to read words.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's and for reference, I do want to point out, at least in my perspective, this is a issue on an otherwise great feature from
Yes.
Everything that I've seen. The UI looks very intuitive. The star map looks fantastic in general, and I love the way the much better way that it does all its zooming in and its routing and everything.
It's awesome.
It's just can we do something about the font? Like it's
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only guess that I have is like, okay, we never had this search feature before and now we do.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they prioritize certain things like this very exciting, like I think better functionality. Like it is way better. Again, if you know the name of the location, every mission pretty much gives you the name of the location where things are at.
Yep.
If you know the name of the location, it is way better to type it in and just basically press R. It is so intuitive, so simple, rather than, all right, I got to double click the planet. I got to look around for it. Okay, click, then route. Like it is way easier to use the search function than the current system of the star map. And I never noticed this before, but like the routing line goes to both things and stuff now. Was that ever a thing before? I can't remember, but I just like the way things are.
Yeah, no, it looks great. I will also say I do like that the routing is actually contrasted. So they definitely know what contrast is.
Yeah,
so that's good.
There's some orange. We can see it.
Yeah. So that looks great. Even just like small things like the information that comes up about every location, like you have there on the left side. How many times have people? I want to say it's Hurl 3, but it's one of the major Lagrange points that doesn't have a station. How many times have you tried to refuel there and then get completely stuck? So just some nice little things there. Great, is great. And then the search function, awesome. Like a super. A thing that we've needed for a very long time, I think. I do wonder, and because we don't have Pyro in Evocati at the moment, but I do wonder if they'll separate search function between systems, or if there'll be maybe filters for that sort of thing, where you can like filter per system. I feel like that's going to be a really important long-term functionality of it.
I will say during the
server meshing test?
During the server meshing tests, you do not have access to both. Obviously, we had the old star map because we were doing the server meshing test on 322, and there were lots of issues where when I jumped from one system to another, I might have been in Pyro, but I still had a Crusader star map, and there's lots of weird shit going on there, so I would not expect that functionality to exist in the sense initially, or not for a long time, for you to be able to just, plan a route from Stanton to Pyro to Terra kind of thing,
Mhm.
at least not for a while.
Yeah.
Because it looked like that was a big piece of the puzzle that was not functioning correctly. That was one of the biggest call outs, was the star map issue wise. This is something I wanted to point out, because this is something that is in Evo, the list of things on the screen, but what is not currently functioning in Evo, from what I can tell, is the fact that they clicked on one of them and it brought you to that thing. There we go. He goes, hot dogs, bang, it brings you to hot dogs.
Right.
That's not, and then you can route it. So that was not something that I've seen work yet, but it's obviously something that is functional at some point on their end. Another thing that I will say, I think it was Friday, there was a star map update, like visual update. That is not something you're seeing on the screen here, as far as my understanding. The planets look pretty good, but the readability issue still persists. So ArcCorp looks like detailed. It's pretty cool, actually. So yeah, there's some cool stuff there, but I don't know. Overall, I'm getting very tired of the ISCs on quality of life and UI updates, and I am increased, like, just to touch a little bit on the but where is 323 thing. Friday was a plan to try to get out the cargo update. I think we were going to have a lot of things to talk about today on this Answer the Call, where we were going to push aside quite a few things for way more important things like cargo updates that were canceled from SCL, right? And I think this is just my pure speculation. We have no information on this whatsoever, but my pure speculation is that they were trying to push this hangar update out, and the people who were needing to do that, unfortunately, were the people that were going to be on SCL. So I'm way happy if that was the plan of, like, hey, we're not doing SCL because they need to make the damn game. Sure, no problem, right? Unfortunately, that patch didn't make it, so hopefully early this week, and we'll see. But
did they when they delayed the SEL, did they clarify when they're looking at doing it again? Like, would we do you know, through your history of watching SEL, would we imagine that it would probably be next week?
Everything about the way they do things has changed when it comes to their video content. So my hope would be, this is a massive priority. This would be a great show. Let's get them on when the content is in 323 and ready for feedback. So, like, for me, the but where's 323 is 323 for me is entirely freight elevators, distribution centers, cargo, persistent hangars, and cargo missions. Those four things are the only things that I care about. So that's where I'm like, I'm starting to get nervous, because we've been in Evo for 2 weeks now, and I'm starting to get nervous on the timeline of things. And we talked about it at the very beginning of, like, damn, like, distro centers are there, guys. There's no fucking missions at them. I went and looked for all the economy changes in the game. Only 2 things have changed. Only 2 things. Construction materials went from 6K per to 3K per, and RMC went from 13K per to 10K per. It's good, but it's not.
Yeah, that's good. But
it's not a huge change. It's not a huge change either. So, like, 3K per SCU, when I can make hundreds of these SCU, is still.
It's still a lot, but I think
iffy.
it's a reasonable nerf for now.
Ooh, okay. Somebody in chat gave me some info that I was not aware of. Unverified missions at distro, so unlawful missions are at distro centers. I will be checking that out.
That's right, yeah, because they're renamed now. They're no longer personal.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, they renamed all the apps. That's, I guess, something that we can bring up as well. There's no, like, assets is knickknacks. Rep is whatever. We talked about this last week, but you could see it all. Wallet, vehicles. They're keeping it simple for simple people.
And apparently the only apps that are still not like up to date is the vehicle manager and the comms. Yep. Everything else should be at the very least in, like, a current-ish state. I'm sure there can always be, like, facelifts, but yeah.
Yeah, and that's mostly what this was a facelift. The markers they stated will not be functional how they stated in CitizenCon. You will be able to place a marker, you'll be able to name it, and that's about it.
Yep.
So
And
they're
not
there.
and until we get maps of planets and moons, I imagine we're not going to be able to do it on planets and moons yet. Just landing
Exactly.
zones.
So yeah, so you can only do it in a situation like what's on the screen now. You can only place a marker in a place that has a map. Very few places have maps at the current time, and they were very clear about that being a thing. So having any expectations outside of that would be silly. So don't do that. Don't be mad about something like that. They were very clear about how this is going to take time, and yeah, it is. So I don't know, that I was just kind of whatever, and I was so looking forward to SCL this week. So
Yeah, it was
going to
be a big one. It was
Yeah.
going to be a really big one.
Like I asked
So
a
it is
question
it
about
is a thing.
cargo decks. Like what's going on? Like, you know, and then maybe that opens up the door of like, yeah, we did all these missions that you'll be taking at the cargo deck or something like that, you know? And it was disappointing. So I really hope, like you said, that it's rescheduled right away, right? So we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside that, I think
we'll
that's
see.
everything for me.
Yeah, there was something else, but I forgot it because there was so many things. We've talked for almost an hour about the things that happened this week, which I'm actually kind of surprised by. It didn't feel like a big week, but I guess it was after sort of thinking about it. So I guess let's move into the caller portion of the podcast. And if you want to call in, feel free, come to discord.gg/SaltEMike and head on in, get your questions in. Or talk about any of the things that we talked about today.
Now's a good day to come in because there's only 2 callers in the queue right now. So this has been the least. Now there's 3. This has been the least amount of callers we've had in recent weeks. So get in here. But I just brought in Light Smith. So Light, what do you want to chat about?
Yo,
what up?
Howdy.
How's it going?
It's going
fantastic.
I wanted to start off. I didn't call in last week. Watched the episode though. Good episode.
Appreciate it.
I wanted to reference something that you guys talked about, and I just want to say some of us are really excited for new lights coming to the game. Okay?
I did say
I'm kind of invested at this point, you guys.
So many people commented on the podcast. I don't know if you saw this, Mike.
That's
about
stupid
people
light.
being like, I love lights. Lights are going to be so sick.
I'm so excited.
I'm happy for you.
I want
I'm
more
happy for
lights.
You've
I'm
named
one of
yourself
those guys
after
that goes
lights.
around and I pick up all the little flares I find everywhere. I'm the guy that'll be throwing them around the bunkers, lighting up all the corners.
Love it.
Fair enough. Whatever floats your boat, I guess.
I mean, if we can get some use out of them someday, that'd be great. But I think put a light in any game, and it's going to make a lot of people happy. So,
okay.
Fair enough.
Mike, I actually had a couple of questions for you because you're an Evo and I'm not an Evo.
Okay.
And I wanted some clarity. I know a lot of people have talked about this. You go to the search bar, you type in a location, you hit a button, and you go right there. My question is, if I'm on the other side of a moon and I want to go to Hurston, do I still have to manually jump from OM to OM and then to Hurston, or does it just take me right to Hurston?
No, you still do the jump. You hit the OMs. So you don't
gotcha.
get, you know, sometimes you get blocked and you can't choose anything. So far, I haven't experienced that, but that doesn't mean much because you got to remember lots of crashes, difficulties playing, things like that. So you won't get those true experiences until there's more stability. Right. Yeah. So it does calculate the OM into the path more consistently in my experience so far, but I don't know.
That's good. That actually was my follow-up question is, do you ever hit that little block where it stops you? Because that was happening to me the past couple of days, and that gets frustrating.
Yeah. It is very frustrating. Not yet, but from what I'm gathering about everything is they haven't fixed quantum travel. So one thing that I did have is, you know, when you spool up, you sit there, you press B, nothing happens, and it just stops.
Yep.
That happened.
Yeah.
So they haven't fixed quantum travel, which is what everybody wants. Like when people are like, oh, I just want a working star map. In a lot of ways, you're saying, I just want working quantum travel. And that's not necessarily the case. This is refacing in a lot of ways of something that we had before, making it look different and adding some more functionality to it, right? With the search bars and other things. And maybe there's some code changes there, but it's not as deep as I think people are wanting it to be. So
I would imagine. I would imagine in that specific example, the reason that's that bug's still happening is because it's just not a priority because quantum is changing, right?
Yep.
They haven't given us.
we don't have the new system.
We don't know when it's coming, but it is supposed to be. I believe it's supposed to be part of the within a year aspect.
It was shown at CitizenCon.
So, yeah. But yeah, that bug honestly annoys me less than the actual routing bug. I will say.
Yes, because that bug you just look away. There's an easy workaround for it. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's just an example of like most likely the everything isn't fixed. Essentially, is my assumption there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
I had another question about like kind of a map thing. If I'm on Orison and I like look at Microtech on the map, can I zoom into one of the local maps, or do I have to be there?
I believe they say in the ISC that's coming.
Okay. I don't know. Okay. One of the guys I play Evo with said no.
Yeah, but I do believe they said in ISC that it's coming. So
I love this whole thing though, because it's like as somebody in Evo, somebody who's not, sometimes you think of something to look for and test that I just would never have thought about trying, and it's a very obvious one to think to try, but it's just something that never crossed my mind to look at. But yeah,
in a similar vein, I do want to mention. Apparently, I've been told by some Evocati testers that the physicalization of all the other like major bodies is there everywhere now. So you can actually zoom into Microtech from Hurston. Like it's not map, like actually physically zoom into Microtech from Hurston. You can see the little dot. Whereas right now in live, it doesn't exist until you're like, within.
It's crazy good. It's not just that you can zoom into them. They work the LODs out. You can see the moons and the planets way further out as you're approaching them in quantum. It just it's like way more immersive, feels like you're traveling a lot more. It makes quantum a little less lame. It's actually
a little
really
less loading screeny.
It feels like you're way more traveling and way less playing Elite Dangerous, I think, when it comes to that. It's really cool. Yeah.
That's nice. All right, with some of the loot stuff, because again, I haven't had the opportunity to try it myself, and I think Mike, you've been very vocal about this one. If I hit my primary weapon button, does it switch back to the gun I was carrying, or does it switch to the other one?
What do you mean?
There's that big issue.
Everything is changed.
You pull out your med gun, you have your assault rifle, and maybe you have an SMG on your back. You pull out your med gun, you hit primary weapon, and it pulls out the SMG. It doesn't go back to your assault rifle right now, and it's very annoying. Did they fix that?
There are a lot of new issues that have come up with this whole thing because now primary is on one, but it goes through everything, and like it's different. I can't recall. I would have to like look back at like recordings or something like that. But like you press different buttons now for different things. So one thing that is not there is when you heal, it doesn't switch, I don't think, if you have two weapons.
Okay.
Have you ever had that one?
Yeah.
But there's so many new bindings and there's so many new issues with those bindings that I can't specifically tell you yes or no on that one.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm curious about some of these little bugs you run into at the moment to moment. You're trying to switch back to that one gun you actually have ammo for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have anything that you want to talk just because I don't want this to be a tell me about Evo?
Oh, sure.
Thing.
Yeah, that was actually some of my main questions.
Perfect. Because Croncy obviously can't participate as much, so it's not for now.
Soon.
Yes, very soon, hopefully.
Soon.
So I'm
asking because I can't participate. So
I understand.
Maybe
I understand. Yeah, and I also
but
didn't
I did
post
actually
any
have a little
videos on
thing.
it this week, and it was this week was very trying as far as testing went. It was a lot of instability, lots of weird problems, and nothing new added. So
Yeah.
I will say that I have generally been burned out on Evo testing because of the time of day that the patches go live, or usually when I go to sleep. And I've burned myself out officially this week. And with nothing new coming, it's hard for me to be excited to pop back in and try all these little edge case things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I did want to throw a little tip out there. Maybe it's too late with the Overdrive event, but maybe a lot of people haven't done this yet. Just because a lot of people notice after you've accepted and done the Overdrive event missions and you complete them, whether it's the 3 of 3, 4 of 4, whatever it is, they go away.
Yeah.
But you can join your friends.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you want, there's the little trick of doubling up. A lot of these locations don't have friendly NPC stuff to shoot at you and tell you to go away. So if you're with a group of friends, just have one person accept it and everybody just follow along and just participate. If you don't care about the money, just participate, have some fun, and then your second person does it. He accepts his 1 of 3, and so you can kind of double and triple up on the amount of missions you get to do.
Yeah,
if you want to do it that way.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're enjoying the missions or whatever, you can absolutely do. You don't even need friends. You could just pop in Gen Chat and say, "Hey, anybody need help doing Overdrive missions?" And I'm sure somebody's out there looking for a little bit of help. My org has done the same thing. Like, I'm getting pings every once in a while. Hey, we're doing some Overdrive tonight. Who needs help on this phase? And
yeah. And I will say it's gotten much better as the weeks have gone by. Like, I didn't do any of phase 3 on time, so I did phase 3 yesterday, and so I got to enjoy it because there wasn't 80 people doing this one shared mission.
Exactly.
And so we actually got to have like a little fun with it and stuff. So like, even if you have done literally none of it, it's still really good to do right now.
Yep.
It is.
Yeah, 100%.
And it is very terrifying to walk into SBK and see like 20 people you don't know.
I can only imagine. Terrifying. My experience, I was kind of lucky. It was just my group and I think one random apparently. So we were not like we didn't have to deal with anything crazy. And I think it's because we got through it quite quickly the moment the event went live. So not everybody had gotten through that yet. So you didn't have like a wave of people there. But yeah, dude, SBK is still one of my favorite things in Star Citizen. Yep. Always has been. Yeah. It's just a great location. Every time it comes up in Gun Rush or the coin game or whatever, I can't end on I will not Alt F4 and like move on with my day if SPK came up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my favorite location in the game. Good. So yeah.
And yeah, I'm upset. Like everybody else, we didn't get any answers to our questions, but one I wanted to bring up with you guys that I was thinking about because, Mike, I saw before you guys started here, you were doing some Hull C stuff.
Yeah.
And I was doing some Hull C stuff recently and thinking about my personal hangar and how they said the big hangars are getting a little bit bigger to make some extra room, this and that, and that it's going to be an instant situation. But I don't have a lot of answers on it, and I'm a little curious.
Nobody does.
Just with me floating around with my Hull C, if you expand it, I'm almost certain I could jam it into a hangar right now. And if they made that hangar not only wider, but even if they made it taller, I think I'm going to be able to jam it in there. So what's stopping me from going down into a ground location, keeping my Hull C floating, closing my hangar door, having somebody come to my hangar, maybe, safely get me out, and we just start manually loading all that stuff right into my inventory. I think I might be able to sell from my Hull C to a ground location if they don't.
Well, yeah, because you're not selling from your Hull C.
Theoretically.
Yeah. Because you're not selling from your Hull C.
I mean, but right now they kind of slam the door on you if you're not careful. But
you can just transfer it to another ship right now. It's essentially the same thing that you're describing. Yeah. It's just instead of putting it in a different ship, you're putting it in like the freight elevator.
Yeah,
I was just like considering
the example
the
of
quickness.
Like I'm the solo Hull C pilot, which everybody is. How do I do that, right? And I think that is definitely a way that will work.
I think honestly, the thing that'll stop you is you'll realize that it's not worth your time. Eventually.
Exactly.
You'll do it. You'll do it, and it'll be funny.
4 minutes.
And you'll be fun. But yeah,
it's 4 minutes to unload outside. How many minutes do you think it is to load inside? It's going to take you 4 minutes to get in the hangar and get out.
Yeah. So
it will not be worth your time.
jettison cargo button is working, and then just one button, you just drop it all into your hangar and just
Yeah,
go
it's called
from
the
there,
self-destruct button. There you
Yeah.
go.
yeah.
It'd be cool.
Oof.
I have so many questions, man. I'm so curious about like
Mhm.
what happens when the door opens instance wise. Like so many people want to know, can somebody just blast into the hangar? What's what does it look like from the outside? What does it look like from the inside? If it's an instance, can we
Yeah.
see each other? Like there's so many questions to be had on this, and it's really unfortunate we didn't get the answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you guys think? I know it was kind of like 320, 321, 322 when we were getting the little after the Vulture. We got like the Max Beam. We got the bigger Cambio SRT tool,
Mhm.
and then they added little craftables after a couple of patches. First, it was the multi-tool. Then it was like the little ammo canisters for the salvage tool to the Vulture. I'm actually just kind of hoping we get a couple little more surprises in there. I don't think there's anything stopping them at this point from still utilizing that on the Vulture and
There's-
just saying, hey, now you can craft these things and these things with your stuff.
I think there's one thing stopping them, which is that it's very likely a lot of the ideas around crafting are right now in concept as they're doing stuff with base
Yeah.
building.
I agree with
So I
Croncy.
don't
it
think-
makes it a waste
yeah.
of time, right? Essentially.
Yeah, it's very likely that they would just have to completely change that stuff.
So why do it?
so-
True.
As
Well,
much
the only
as
reason
I
why I was
agree,
mentioning
like,
is
you could
because,
just
like,
throw
you
things
pointed
on the
out, Mike.
list. You could just throw things on the list. You could do ammo. You could do anything.
Yeah.
Like in
Yeah, yeah.
reality.
And the point, the real reason is because if they're trying to soft nerf salvage by just lowering the prices, right now I think those are the only two ingredients. So at
Yeah.
least if they lower the price, it would make those things more useful. Kind of like a little bit of a balance there, maybe.
Oh, it'd be great. It's just a matter of, would you rather them spend any moment of energy thinking about that in the short term or thinking about the long term and delivering a good video game? Because what you're describing
That's also very
is
true.
a good video game in the short term, in which we don't have a video game, right? So it'll make something interesting for 5 minutes rather than making something interesting for 5 years. And I really want them to do the crafting stuff that makes it interesting for 5 years, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, a
And
little bit.
and I hope that's what they're doing now.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that'd be nice. In the background, hopefully planning all the engineering ingredients, relays, and well, we got horns now. Maybe I can use a horn and make some med juice to stab somebody with.
You know what I got to do? I got to find the birds again and look for the description
Gullets or whatever.
of what the pearl is and see if that's been
Yeah.
updated, because that had no description, and the horn had a very crafting description, a very medical
Yeah.
crafting description. So we'll see.
Yeah, crafty
Yes.
sounding. Yep, that's what I want, because I think that we can talk about economy all day, but economy is one side of the coin, and I think crafting and making my money and my time and my things around me worth more than just my dollar per hour.
Yep.
So that's what I'm hoping for.
100%. I think that's probably a good place to leave it, Lightsmith, because now we're starting to get a little bit of a
Yeah.
queue, and we'll let you go and we'll bring in our next caller. But I really enjoyed the call, and I can't. Yeah, some of these things I cannot wait for.
Yep.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me, guys.
Cheers
Anytime.
for calling in.
Anytime.
Have a good one.
All right, and just a confirmation, the Wanted Tiger in Twitch chat has caught some birds, and no description.
description?
No,
Okay.
not currently. All right, we got our next
Cool.
caller in the line. We got Strexus. What's up?
How you doing, Straxus?
Hi, hello there. Thank you for having me. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you good.
You're a little low.
Perfect.
I'm gonna bring you up though. Okay.
Okay. I just want to touch on. I think this was from. Was it in Inside Star Citizen? When they were when one of the developers were talking about my mind it just went blank there. The looting screen. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah,
The
from
looting
last week,
screen.
yeah.
And what scared me a little bit, it might be me, it might be just me overthinking, but they said the looting screen that we see in the current testing environment, which is being implemented for 323, is ported from Squadron 42, right? The
Kind
red
of.
is the enemy.
The quick
Kind
loot
of.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, the quick loot stuff. So they said that was designed for Squadron 42, but they are also working on another looting screen or quick loot screen, more designed for the Persistent Universe, the online version of this franchise. Does that mean, for example, sorry?
I have the answer for you. You're looking into it way too deeply. They're just talking about visually, so it's very
Visually,
red
okay.
and stuff. So the original Squadron 42 one that they showed was just the quick loot screen where you don't see the backpack or anything like that. Then there's another button
Correct.
that you press. They made that specifically for the PU because in Squadron, you're in the military. You're not looting some random dude's armor because you already have the best stuff possible, right?
Exactly.
So there was never a need for a backpack or a deeper inventory. They created that in Evo for the PU. What they're talking about
exactly.
is very similar to the like manufacturer UIs for helmets or for ships and things like that. More in lore stuff. So essentially what they're saying is it's going to be a blue hologram that you can't read.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Right.
So that's all it is. It's a Squadron 42 visual versus a PU visual, I think is all that they were saying. That's how I read into it. If anybody here feels any different, speak up. But I did not read it that way.
With the addition of like having access to the current loot system, because like you said, it's the more MMO focused system.
Yeah, you have the ability, you have the functionality that you need.
Yeah.
You have all the functionality you need and more.
Yeah, of course. But the way I was thinking about it, the way I saw this was like when they said this is a Squadron 42 version, but you will get a Star Citizen version. So I was thinking, well, does that mean we're using a Squadron 42 star map as well?
Yeah, all of this is
Squadron.
like all of these features, especially very aesthetically at the moment, are Squadron. I imagine the star map is very similar because the Mobi-Glass is for sure.
Of course.
I imagine
the Mobi-Glass is similar. But the Mobi-Glass is entirely different than what they showed at CitizenCon. So the Mobi-Glass has different apps, different colors. So it is, they did a PU update for that. So you, but
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And also I wanted to inform, well, not really inform, but give some tips in regards of the Intel Raid, the first phase of the Xenothreat Overdrive missions. Because you, Mike, you said at the beginning when I joined your podcast here, you haven't seen so much of that Xenothreat helmet with the spray paint.
Correct.
Fancier one. Yep.
Yeah. It's actually not that rare when you do when you do the missions, because the thing is people are they are too quick to just shoot down the AI in the elevators.
And then the elevator closes. Yeah.
You, what I usually do, I just, in case of somebody in chat didn't know, if you want the helmet, depends on how many participants are in the group. But if you just take a quick look at the AI, the character model, if you see the one with the special helmet, just one tap or two shots, and he will start walking out of the elevator, and you can kill him outside. Because if you kill him inside, the doors will close.
You can also go inside the elevator with them and kill them there. The doors will close on you, but they will open and let you out.
They will open again. Yeah.
I also imagine that they're more likely to spawn in the fourth and the fifth Intel Raid in the later boss waves.
Yes.
Just because,
the first one or two,
guys.
I never saw them at all. And you could see it went from light armor to medium armor, but I just never saw the heavy armor that much in the last two for whatever reason. So.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't spawn. Sometimes they can even multiply for one run, I believe. I think I saw 3 of them in one session.
Nice.
Wow.
That's cool. But how are you enjoying the Overdrive? You like it?
I did enjoy the SPK. For my experience, the AI seemed to be, of course, they're still laggy. They're not perfect, but at the same time, they didn't really do the typical teleporting, and they managed to kill you with 1 FPS reaction. Like the server just classically catches up to you. You were actually standing in the open there. You died there. I'm sorry, you died there.
But
but for the SPK missions on live, they were actually walking actively around looking for you.
They were more functional, I
Uh,
felt like.
Yeah, but again,
Yeah.
not perfect, but we're getting there.
Yeah, there was a bunch of AI changes. I want to say like 2 major patches ago. I think it was like 320 or
Huge
something.
Evo changes as
Um,
well, by the way,
Yeah.
on Friday for this.
Sweet. But yeah, in terms of the FPS AI, there's been a lot of situations in the last probably like 6 months since 320 came out, maybe 7 months, that they have proven that the AI can work when the servers want to work. And since then, they've been improving them. Like they've been performing better under worse circumstances over the course of the last 7 months. Right now in live with especially SPK, I think everyone's starting to experience that a bit more.
It's almost like
yeah.
SPK is a bit newer, so they come out of the elevators more consistently, where the bunkers are still
Could be
so
the case,
scuffed that
Yeah.
you have more issues there. Possibly, I don't know. But like,
It's certainly be the case.
I guess this is just a good opportunity for something that I missed on 323. Like Friday, they added, I think it was Friday, they added an update to the AI in Arena Commander and like the way that they fly and stuff. Bro, they're cracked. It's like, it's hard. You know how you
because
can
I
like
did
solo
the-
Pirate Swarm? Like some people can, like really good pilots that like know where to fly and like get under certain ships, like and make them bug out. But I was completely overwhelmed. I had to grab an F8C just to have a chance. I had to pay to win just to have a chance at winning, and I still lost. So they're pretty strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I had a lot of fun with with this current phase that we're in right now, especially the Comrades. I loved it. It was new to me, but something in my mind just told me this has probably done before. But to me, it was the first time that you could see all the laser beams, so you have to like be careful with your movement inside of the Comrade. Have they done that before?
Yeah, they're at derelicts, like search and rescue missions, things like that. They're at, but so if the reason why you could tell is because you know how the laser doesn't go all the way across; it has a length.
Yeah,
it's because they're only in doorways on ships and stuff like that. So they never needed to be longer, and now they did.
Exactly.
But for me that was like a super welcome surprise. Oh yeah, also on the Klesher escape, they're there as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
that
got
one
it recently.
laser beam.
Yeah. So
it's more than one if you get a good server. The whole when you go through the end of Klesher where you get the code for the what is it, the rover, there's supposed to be 3 on the ground. You've got to like crawl under one, jump over one, and like
go around a box.
Go around a box and hop over one. Except most servers you can just sprint through all 3 and you'll be A-okay.
Yeah,
exactly. When was because if we're going back to the topic of the streamer, a lot of updates, but where is 323? I was starting to think the same, like the previous week. Like, weren't we supposed to, unless they have managed to change their statement now on regarding of the release? Didn't they say at the end of April? And somebody like
they were
planning.
somebody
theorized. They were planning.
Targeting that. They are going to miss that target probably.
As I like to call it on my end, a wish list.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to miss their target, or they're going to remove things from the cards. There are many things that are still gray on the cards. There are only 2 things that are blue. So yeah,
it only happened like 2 weeks ago. We got our first committeds. So
yeah, exactly. And we're not getting any more. And it's just letting you know kind of the state of things currently. They're not amazing, and they're not incredibly horrible. They are very much an Evo patch, but it's been 2 weeks of an Evo patch, which is sort of a bit more of a surprise, but not really when it comes to a huge patch like 323, a huge technical update like replication layer. So this is all expected, but I am starting to get nervous about the timeline of things. Now, I will say I did mention that I was getting burned out a little bit, right? I think I'm not the only one. I'm going to make a hot take here and say that we're wave 1 this coming weekend. It's either that the Evos like Croncy that aren't quite in yet, there's a lot of them, and if there are a lot of them, they'll get another flood of people that aren't burned out, or they're going to get a flood of people, or we're all burned out and they're going to get a flood of people via wave one. That's what I think it's going to be. Just because no matter what the state of it is, they're going to need more data and more people. And when they, in the histories past, when Evo goes on this long, less concurrency over time, people get bored, nothing new to check out. Not everybody is there to work for free. Some people just want to see cool new stuff. I'm one of those people for sure. Like I will do stuff and do some Evo testing, but I also love to just check out the stuff. And honestly, you're still Evo testing when you're doing that, right? You're giving them all the data they need. And that's just how I like to go about it. I'm not working for a company for free. Like it's just not one of those things I'm willing to do. So I just expect it to go wave one soon.
If I were working for CIG, I would hire you to do the marketing.
Oh no,
Why would you want
terrible
to do
idea.
that? Yeah, you wouldn't make any money.
I would hire Mike to do the marketing. Here's a ship, just take it. I don't care.
Yeah.
So you want to bankrupt CIG? That's what
I had. Like for my average view count, I had significantly less subs than most streamers until more recently. I am a terrible salesman.
But wouldn't
Terrible.
it be in terms of releasing 323? Wouldn't be make a lot of much more sense to tie it with Invictus? Or is that just a stupid
because you don't
idea?
want it completely unstable.
Yeah, and in the past they have done like all of the Invictuses and IAEs. I guess those are the new ones. Usually are tied to a .x. Last year, I think it was Invictus. The patch came out 2 days before. So, as in like the .x patch came out 2 days before. We are very much in that world right now again for this Invictus. So the hope is that that the major issues that happen with 323 get done before then, because obviously this is the massive mid-year drive for new players and stuff. So that's where I'm at, is like I do think they're going to miss April, but I think we're going to be in another situation where like 323 comes out like a week and a half or 2 weeks before Invictus, and then we get a really quick like .x patch that is just bug fix patch that's just here's the convention center and
here's a retaliator. Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for me. I don't have anything else to put on the table. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers. Appreciate
Talk to you soon.
I enjoy the show and all the content that you do for this video game, and I've been funding this game since 2012, 2013.
I love it says he's not playing this game. I've been funding this game. He just
I'm important, I'm important.
Yes. Get your premium ticket in for CitizenCon, all right? And wear your monocle while you're there.
I'll hire you. Remember that. I'll hire you for marketing.
True. Perfect. All right, Strexus.
Bye. You have a good time.
Later.
Bye.
That was awesome. All right. We have somebody in the green room, Pepper. I'm just gonna take these 2 callers, and then that'll probably be where it ends. But we got Hellhawk on the line now.
Hellhawk, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Not much. Just in the middle of a podcast.
Yeah, we're just doing a podcast.
Oh man, wanted to touch on the missions piece actually.
Okay.
I thought there was way too much quantum traveling for no reason.
I want to say phase 2.
Phase 2 is brutal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Phase 2 is brutal for that.
The damn encryption key. It's like, go to the station you will never travel to again, 30 mil away in your Mustang Alpha or whatever these people have to do it in.
Yep.
I feel like they could have done something cool where each stage was all of the missions that we've done so far in ArcCorp or Microtech, and then it slowly brings you to Crusader, and now you're chasing down relays.
You can't. I wish you could, but you would run out of locations. One of the biggest gripes about this is like running out of locations and people not being able to do the missions at the same time or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. I agree, wholeheartedly agree, but I think that's like a hurdle that they have to get over. Think about what's going to happen when there's 800 players in a server. how are the current missions that we have going to work? They're going to open their mobiGlas and nothing's going to be available to do, and they're just going to go, well,
Yeah,
guess I'm logging
you'd
out.
have to have different mission types you could tap into. Maybe some are in a bunker, some are in one of those obscure locations that aren't marked on the map.
Yeah.
Obviously right now they don't have the tools and they wanted to get something out. I think in the future it would be a good way to mix things up and make it so that
Yes.
half the game isn't traveling.
Yes, you're not wrong at all. Don't think I'm disagreeing with you. It's just I
No,
don't
no,
think
no.
it's possible.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone who does actually play the game disagrees either. Although I did see someone in the YouTube comments say that apparently you can't complain about too much travel. So that's an interesting take.
Yeah.
I like to
Watch
play the
me.
game. I don't know about you guys, but
I like to be stuck in my chair, just hearing the same fucking sound over and over again. Maybe I'll have a drink.
I will say one of the ways that they could fix that issue with Phase 2 is just space them out a bit more. Like if each of those Phase 2 things happened in between Phase 3, in between Phase 4, where it does become a little bit of a break that way, like a little bit of a way to break up the feelings, and then you're not going full gun ho the entire time. Yeah.
Well, we can hope that next time.
Exactly.
Let's travel.
Maybe. Yeah.
I love the SPK thing. And the only, and I know they haven't really worked it out 100%.
Mhm.
The formation flying in one of the earlier versions, I think it was actually Phase 2, was so damn good. I kind of wish they would have brought a little bit of that into SPK and actually had reinforcements flying in to cut you off, or like to drop off troops on a pad. And I think that's the only. Well, yeah, like from an experience side, because you kind of lock yourself into, well, this is only FPS, and this is only space, and I think that would have been a way to combine them both so you can get more people involved. But
Yeah.
just a thought.
Do we know? So we got I think it was in like 317. We got reinforcements, right? We got atmospheric reinforcements.
Yeah.
Do we know why they can't do that for places like SPK? Because it feels like it would be a very similar idea, because they always land at the exact same place, right? So I wonder, is there a way that they could just do that for locations like that, where it's just they're going to land at that landing pad all the time?
Maybe stations act differently than planets when it comes to the tech that they made. Maybe they only made tech for planets.
Probably,
so far.
Yeah.
It could be the pathing. Like they just fly straight into the ring or something when they're going in for the pad. But either way, that would be something that would be a cool little add-on. I think the main thing I wanted to bug you guys about was cargo decks and the hangars, and what your thoughts were on this, because one of the questions I wanted to ask that got deleted off of the the question spectrum thread was, can we rent? Yeah, I know it happens. Can we rent storage from refinery stations?
Why would they get deleted?
Not necessarily hangars. I had two sections of the question. I specifically asked, can we rent hangar space? And then the follow-up, and it was more of a clarifying piece. This is why I'm asking this first piece, but it got deleted. But I got annoyed because I'm looking at some of these other questions, and there were like fucking paragraphs in there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna bother.
Their moderation is so stupid sometimes. I'm sorry.
It's because your question was cringing bad.
Yeah.
I know. Extra cringe.
Honestly, I actually think because I think it ties into that, like what you're describing probably ties into features that aren't currently being developed. Like renting. You're talking about renting storage space.
It was
right?
all
like
things cargo. We should be
Yeah,
allowed to ask anything. They don't have to answer it.
But there's no, that's the case. Yeah, I guess there's no need to delete it. But
exactly.
Yeah. I would like that. I will say I would like there to be some aspect of like purchasing. So, like I go to Pyro and the Rough and Ready's guys have their stations set up, and I've got to pay for storage from them, and then Reputation can like alter that price or whatever it might be. I think that'd be a really cool system. But I also don't think it's something that's on their radar at the moment.
Yeah, I thought it was weird because technically, if they're already bringing in the oh Jesus Christ, the freight elevators,
Mhm.
all it is how you're accessing your storage at a station. So the storage is
Yeah.
already there. All they need to do is say you're limited to this because this isn't your home base, and I don't know. Like you said, they probably haven't started that, but based on the features we already have in the game or that they're about to bring in the game, I feel like that wouldn't be too much of a stretch.
Yeah, no, I think
es-
that's super
That's
feasible.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, the thing I've been asking for years, let us refine from bags and not ships.
I tested it.
They might.
No,
Oh,
I tested
really?
it. Well, I
Oh.
didn't. Guys in my group did, and
Yeah,
it did not.
Yeah, I
work.
got really excited when I saw the bags for sale, and
yeah.
about
not a
this?
thing yet. But
How do you get the bags out? And they're not like regular containers right now. You can't even. So you buy them, and then if you
Yeah.
don't use the mission or the vehicle manager to add them to your ship, you cannot do anything with them. You cannot go whoop,
crap.
add to inventory and have them drop. That's current. That's current. It might change over the.
Yeah,
over the
I was gonna
course
say
of
because that
PTU.
well, because you would get them from your freight elevator, but the freight elevator's not in yet. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So like the current experience of how you deal with cargo containers, they did not add that functionality because that functionality shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
Because you can't magically make a box appear out of nowhere. They don't want to do that. So at the moment, you can't do anything with the purchased bags, but with bags with ore in them, you cannot sell them from a cargo ship. They must be sold from a mining ship. Sad.
Yeah.
Very sad.
Baby steps.
Yes.
Very small.
There's
baby
a
steps.
possibility that could change when freight elevators come out.
There is
I'll
a
keep my hope in for
possibility.
like a week. Yeah.
There's a possibility with freight elevators it can change.
Yeah.
Possible. But I doubt
Well,
it.
the other thing is distro centers. Now that we're going to have like Gray Cat distro center and
Yep.
Bearing distro center, I want to be able to take my stuff to a distro center, unload it into storage or whatever, and then start a manufacturing run. And then give me that. Maybe it's not crafting on a ship, but at least it's I'm participating. I'm making something small into that next item, and it may even give you a reason to do mining on the ground. Let's say you need gems for a certain build, like you're making optics. So a simple add-on like that would finally give players incentive to do things they wouldn't normally do because it's not necessarily the best cash right this second.
Yeah.
But I really hope that comes in eventually, next year or so, because the economy's gameplay is kind of dull right now, and I'm
just a little bit.
kind of getting burnt out on it.
Just a little bit.
Just dead.
Yeah. Another big disappointment on that front. Went and looked at all the buy and sell prices for everything, and they look the same.
Okay.
I could imagine that'd be one of the last things to change though before the patch comes out.
Yeah, I'm leaving hope as well, but for now, that was one of the things I was like, as soon as it got stable enough to check, we started checking, and they all looked pretty much the same. So yeah.
Well, we'll see that.
I think whatever economy change we're gonna get might be like a big dump kind of thing instead of a, I don't know.
Probably.
I hope not. I hope it's a slow, gradual build up, but so far not happening.
The last time I want to touch on was beacons.
Yes.
I don't think they should have the coordinates actually listed out in the beacon.
Why?
And because there's no way to keep exploration gameplay in the game if they give you the coordinate map. So if your objective is to set up data running and exploration inside the game itself and make it something you have to trade, like a server chip or something like that, as soon as you give XYZ coordinates, well, now I can go in a forum and just post the coordinates, and now you have it. And now data running and exploration are basically screwed.
Why? So obviously, yeah, data. Well, first off, I am always of the exploration is already in game. Exploration is an overarching description of a bunch of different gameplay styles. Specifically, data running though. Why does that have to be trading coordinates? There can be so many different other things that it can be, and it's not a feature that's in game yet. You know what I mean? So it's
yeah.
I understand what you're saying, but it's a gripe about something that doesn't exist. You know what I mean? Like it's It's like
It's too-
complaining about, I don't like that mining doesn't contribute enough to crafting. Of course it doesn't. Crafting doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean that's fair. It's more of a in the future. I hope that if they're going to make it so that exploration gameplay and data like coordinates are not linked, they take that into account and make data running. It's got to be useful in some form or fashion. And I just see it.
Data running does for sure. I just don't think it necessarily will end up being coordinates. So I don't see it as a present issue.
This is just
because it'll be there when they go to do it. When they go to make data running, if the coordinates are there, then it'll be a non-issue.
Yeah, and the thing is whatever they do when they go to make data running it'll be different than how they described it to you when you got excited for it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's what's
It'll
gonna
be cargo running.
What's gonna happen.
That's all it'll be.
Yeah, it'll be cargo running, but with a fucking hard drive,
A computer
or
in
some
the
dumb
back.
shit. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. Well, that's all I had today, guys. Appreciate the time. And
Yeah, cheers for the call.
Thanks for the
here's
call.
your
and
323.
Rest in peace, data running. Sorry, man, your Herald's gonna suck.
Yeah, you're actually 100% right.
Yep. Later, hell.
Cheers, mate.
Later.
All right, and we'll take our final caller for the day, Warlock
Sounds good.
SRB. Warlock, can you hear
Warlock,
us?
how you doing?
Hello, guys.
Hello.
Howdy. What would you like to talk about today?
So, there are a few things. First of all, I'm first-time caller.
Welcome.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm listening to your podcast for quite some time now, and it's fun. Well, I didn't know for you until I saw you on Grumpy Eyes streams,
Oh,
because
nice.
he's my countryman.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. From Serbia?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. I was like, I want to make sure I get this right, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you think about the addition of Croncy to the podcast? I'm very happy about it. Do you like it?
Yep, it's cool. It's cool.
Awesome.
It's always good
Hoping
to
he's
have
gonna
more
insult you.
people. No.
Ego validation.
Let's go.
Okay, there are a few things that I want to talk with you guys.
Go for
I mean,
it.
there are many things. I'm in this whole mess for like over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, there are, for example, the first thing that I want to talk is about UI and the new optics, helmets, maps, so everything regarding that. The UI is, as you might always say, too much hollow. I don't like it at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
It's not just me saying that.
It is
It's
loud
everybody.
and clear from everyone.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they don't listen to people. I mean,
This
how
is
hard
the
is
one
it
thing
to
that they
to
don't.
change?
I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
with you. It's so weird. This is the one thing they refuse to budge on for some reason. The only
like an
thing.
aesthetics choice that,
Yeah.
that they refuse to
Yeah,
change.
but
at the
why
same
does
time,
everything? So sorry, but
Go
why does everything need to be blue? I mean,
know.
okay,
it's
Nobody
everything
knows.
is blue, and yeah, it's funny. I don't know. I don't understand that way of their looking at the things, right?
Yeah.
The map, I think it's cool. This new map, it's pretty cool. There are things missing, but we
Yes.
will see how things go.
Yep.
Everything is
Regarding
going to grow
optics,
over time. We can't expect them to
Yeah,
come in and be
yeah.
a finished game in a game that refuses to finish.
never finish.
Yeah.
Now, regarding optics, this new optics, yeah, finally they're moving towards something that's looking good.
Mhm.
But still, I know it's a lot of hardware. How would I say? When you aim down the sight, the whole viewport zooms. I don't like that. I would like to see that only the part of the optics zoom, but I know it's hardware limitation. It
performance
uses too
thing.
much. Yeah, it will kick our PCs. It does already, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I would
Uh,
like to see something in that way so it would perform better and would work like that.
Zach already said he wants that.
Yeah.
So exactly what you're describing is something that the designers want to
Yeah,
happen.
because that's the
So,
thing that they
good.
showed on last year's Star CitizenCon.
Yep.
They showed like that optics working.
They're The reason that they didn't is something broke with the DLSS, TSR, something like that.
Mm.
So the upscaling, it broke, and they're gonna fix it eventually. But it just broke.
It's cool
Yeah.
it didn't broke the FSR.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know how well that stuff works anyway at the
Yeah,
moment.
it's all the same. It's all the same. It's just dependent of your graphics card, I think.
Yeah.
And one thing about helmets, you remember how we had that interior view of helmets? I'm missing those so much. I mean, they would bring a lot to the game because right now, if you look in live, wherever you go, you will see people running with helmets, not taking them off. It's stupid. I mean, if we had like, I don't know, some heavy armor that has small parts of visible where you can see through, and when you put the helmet on, it will block everything except that small parts. I think people would take off their helmets when they're in hubs and all that stuff.
We used to have this.
I think that,
and,
yeah.
I think as aesthetically in a lot of just any game that has helmets really, which is most FPS games, aesthetically it's just not a thing that most people want. It's one of those things that's like it is a kind of cool what's the word, immersion like aspect that you can have with them, but when it really comes down to it, after playing it for like so much time, people want to have the vision. They don't want things blocking their view when they're looking around the place.
Yeah, but there needs to be something that will prevent you always having it on.
I agree.
mean,
I fully agree.
I
But I
don't.
think that
Why? Who cares?
comes with, well, because I think it's, so they've talked before, and I like the idea of like if you go up to what's his name, Constantine Hurston, in like a full on military garb, why the hell is he talking to you? Like, like there should be a little bit of a disconnect with that. But I think that's where that sort of stuff happens. Is it should happen with reputation, or it should happen with possibly like
when you go through
atmospheric
customs
environmental aspect
as well.
Yeah, go through customs, that sort
maybe.
of stuff. I don't think the solution is to make helmets worse.
I just
No,
don't think
they
it's
should be
so bad that people are running around in armor. I just don't see it as this horrible thing.
well,
That's fair.
it's not. But why do we have clothes in the game? I mean, why would I?
So you can buy it. Like who, you know? In the end, it's everything that has been done up to this point has not been to make a video game in a lot of aspects. It's been to fund the video game that is the single player game. So a lot of the choices they've made do not have gameplay implications with them. They have made up silly ideas that people are locked onto of, well, you're not going to be able to walk around a landing zone because the NPCs are going to get mad at you. Oh, what? The NPCs that stand on chairs that, don't do anything yet?
Yeah.
It's hard to say what can happen and what cannot happen. So again, just like every other aspect of the game, as it develops, things change. I don't see them changing this. Like, yeah, we have a cool character customizer and stuff like that. You know what that's for? Squadron, because you see yourself in the third person in Squadron in the cutscenes, guaranteed. Right? Like,
I do disagree. I think it is coming. It's the Barbie factor of every MMO is such a
I'm not
massive
saying. I think you're right. It
sure.
probably will, but it doesn't have to.
It's not a it doesn't
Like
need
the
to be
bottom of the priority.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
Okay,
it's not
sure.
the. Okay. Then regarding missions, currently we have missions only through our mobiGlass. I think there are a few missions that you can take on foot from some specific characters, but it's like nothing compared to the missions that we have on mobiGlass. Why don't we have more missions on foot? I mean, how hard is it to program that?
What do you mean? Because the
like
mobiGlass is just a system in order for us to track quests, really.
Yeah,
Starfield,
as any
walk up to
other
an NPC.
MMO, you go to NPC to talk with him. There are NPCs that work just fine when you approach them. There are some bugs, of course, but
really?
we don't talk about bugs.
I'd love to know the NPCs that you walk up to that just work.
There is one in Lorville in
bartender on
Reclamation
Horus,
Center,
always.
I think, but whenever you come to him, he just talks with you, everything's fine. Then when you ask him, do you have some work for me? He looks at his mobiGlass and he says, sorry, not today. And yeah, that's it.
I'll maybe twist what you're asking a little bit for what I would like CRG to do in a similar vein. which is I do like the idea of something that happens in Starfield where when you're walking around, you'll
You hear a combo.
overhear something,
Yeah.
and then now you have access to that mission, right? That sort of stuff pops up.
That would also
You
be
do
cool.
that, but then it just pops up in your Moby Glass. I don't think we need to have a situation where I'm running around talking to a person, then I get a quest because I've talked to that person. I think the Moby Glass is literally just a system for quest tracking, and it is totally okay that that's the main system there. But yeah, I would like there to be other avenues to acquire missions rather than going to the Moby Glass.
And I'm gonna give you and Grumpy a little bit of a jab here. I love Grumpy, so nothing against him, but I'm not surprised that a Grumpy Eye fan would come and say, "How hard is it to code that? That sounds so simple." Right?
Well, it's not just a fan. I don't think it's like that.
No, I'm
He
just
never
making
said he
a-
was a fan, Mike. He
I'm-
just
I'm
found
making-
out about you through.
No, whatever. I'm
was-
making a joke on Grumpy, and it's because
Yeah, okay, it's
But
okay.
the idea here is it's probably not that fucking simple because they've been talking
Yeah,
about it
of
for a
course it's
year
not.
and they've wanted to do it.
Yeah,
And you're doing a lot of things like asking why to two people who don't know the answers why.
Okay.
If you
Forget
ask me
that,
about the
forget it.
400 pages of rules of Magic the Gathering, I'm there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm there.
But there like I don't know the answers as to why these things don't happen. If we knew the answers, we wouldn't have to ask the questions, unfortunately. But
You
they
know
don't
how it
they
is?
don't talk
It's
to
always
us,
service.
so we don't know
Yeah, it's always service.
until
Okay.
the servers work.
Yeah, until the servers work. Now, regarding hangars, I had an idea about that personal hangar that we are apparently getting, right? Why don't we have an option, for example, if we are asking for landing on a planet that we chose as our own? You ask for landing, the hangar door opens, right? You go into the hangar, it's standard hangar as it is now, and then you have an option to go into your hangar or to keep ship as it is in the standard hangar. And if you say, I want to go into my hangar, we again have the doors that open underneath the ship and just elevator goes into our hangars. That way we could avoid those people that want to enter a hangar or something like that uninvited. I don't know.
We don't
maybe
even
it
know
will
if that's going to be an issue. The enter the hangar. I mean, I've
exactly.
heard through a grapevine like years and years ago that it's not going to be an issue, but at the same time, how will it not be an issue, right? Will they automatically be
mean,
trespassing, like people are saying in chat,
Yeah.
and instantly be removed? We have no idea how they're going to deal with it. And unfortunately, you have to come on this show and ask another why question that could have been answered 2 days ago, but now we don't have it answered. So we're sitting here wondering the same thing as you.
Well, same. Yeah.
I
I'll
like
also
your
say
idea,
you're-
though. It's more like Elite Dangerous.
I
You
was
know?
going to disagree. I was going to say I don't like that idea too much because I think it is it's making more effort to solve a smaller problem. You know what I mean? Like there are easier things that they can do to solve the issue that you're trying to solve rather than just make it like
You think this is
make the
easier?
player do more work. No, well, you're making the player do more work.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
press an
But-
additional button, but it's easier
it would
to
be the same-
teleport an instance underground with like us just
Yes.
in a building than it is to open a door that everyone can see. So it solves a possible major problem by hiding you from everyone else, then creating the instance.
I feel like you're still doing the exact same thing anyway. 'Cause
Maybe.
that person would then be in there. Like I
But the
think
door's
it's a
not open.
non-issue. Well, the door was open when you came into that hangar,
Yes, and then the door
alright, cool, I'm now
closes.
moving.
The door closes, and then you go down, and nobody can go down
I,
with you.
I have a feeling. I have a feeling people will be camping and waiting.
For sure, people will see if it's possible. The moment it
Yeah,
comes
yeah.
in, I mean, what's the first thing I'm going to do in Evo is open a hangar door and tell my friends to try and come in it and see what happens.
Come in, yeah.
So certainly people will try to see what they can get away with,
Mhm.
right? But we don't know.
Well, I hope we will get to know soon. I mean,
Yep.
it's
Same.
already 2 weeks in Evo, and there's nothing about hangars as far as I know.
Yeah, that's what Mike was saying earlier. Like one of the big major features that he's excited for just has not been in Evo yet. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
which,
so it's
which is
a bit of a bummer.
crazy.
It's not
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
It's pretty.
it's Evo.
It's Evo.
It's Evo. Regarding gold standards and the ships, I mean, we are getting Tali now, right?
Mhm.
Retaliator. I'm not that fond of that ship. I mean, I have
Get out
it
of the
in
call.
my.
Get him out of here.
No, it's I don't know. I mean, there are many other ships that need maybe gold standard before the Tali. At
I mean,
That's just your opinion, though.
I am
Yeah,
disagreeing with you a
in my
lot today.
opinion.
The reason I'm disagreeing with you here is just because they did the Aegis Gladius, they did the Aegis Saber, so the Aegis design language is
I mean,
at the
I mean-
forefront of gold standarding. So it makes
Yeah,
sense to
yeah,
do the
yeah.
Retaliator next.
Yeah, but
Also,
I mean on
Retaliator's probably in
modularity.
squad. It doesn't matter. Retaliator's probably in squadron.
Yeah, it is.
Galaxy's probably
But
not.
What about Kerek? What about Caterpillar? I know
Probably
I
not in
pledged
Squadron.
Avenger back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Probably not in
I'm-
squadron. I mean, it's simple, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna go through and do the gold standard things for the things that need gold standard for
need to go.
squadron first. None of those
okay,
ships
I-
are combat like military ships.
Yeah.
It sucks, but
For example,
that's
I
just how it is.
bought Avenger back in 2014. I pledged that ship, right?
Mhm.
And I remember correctly that they said this ship will be modular. We have now like 3 variants of that ship, right? We have the
Yeah, it's
cargo,
not modular
the
anymore.
small cargo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not modular anymore. So what did I pledge? I did upgrade that ship, of course. I bought better ship.
You don't
than
have it
Avenger.
anymore. So what are you
I
complaining
don't have
about?
it but it is the ship that I pledged for
Yeah.
back in the time.
Like you're not wrong. Other
Yeah, you're
ships
not wrong.
need gold standard. It's just that's not going to be the way that it's going to work. And I am totally okay with the way that it's working.
I'm not okay with the way it's working personally because I don't think enough ships are being prioritized with gold standard reworks as
Well, it's because
ships.
they haven't done it for 2 years. This
Exactly.
is, like I said, this is the first one they've done in a very long time.
Yeah. So hopefully we don't get the next one in 2 years. Is all. Is
Yeah.
kind of what I'm saying. Like the way,
Yeah.
because the way you made it sound was like you're okay with one gold standard ship every 2 years.
No,
which is
no.
obviously not the case. Okay, cool.
No.
I was like, wait a second, Croncy, what the?
Well,
fuck?
as long as that's the Retaliator, then it's fine. But
Yeah.
Yeah, so the tally is good. Huh?
Yeah. The what ship should be prioritized next is always going to be an argument between people because
Yeah,
some
yes,
people like other
yes.
ships over each other. So.
It's not just in this game, it's in every game. Basically, it's in life like that.
Yeah.
Everything is prioritized and people argue about it.
The only thing
Um,
that matters, I think somebody's saying this in Twitch chat, is server meshing. And that's it.
Mhm.
Nothing else matters. Once that happens, then they should be making the game as a priority.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
And one last thing I want to talk about is Reclaimer and Vulture and currently the state that they are in.
Mhm.
I mean, I did both of them a lot, played with them a lot. And the main reason is, of course, money in the game. But I think they are so broken. And even with the change that you might talk about in the Evo that they made, that's stupid.
It still
That-
seems
that
broken,
won't-
right?
No, it won't fix anything.
No, it just
it'll
depends.
it'll
if
make
they're-
it not as broken, but still broken.
Yeah,
but
so what is
right now I can do like 15 millions in hour and a half with Reclaimer. So,
Yeah, so now it's
it won't
7.
be 15, it will be 7.5 millions. Yeah,
Yeah, so
it's broken.
it's broken. So it just comes down to what we don't know is if there's other changes associated with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
regarding-
we were talking about when the hull munching first came in and it was immediately broken. We were talking about like, well, what are potential fixes? And I think one thing that Mike brought up and one thing that a lot of callers brought up
Grumpy
is
actually
you
made a
can't
really
just-
good video on it.
Okay,
Actually,
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just nerf the prices because then it sort of unbalances the vulture too much. You need to do more stuff with like the amount of cargo that they can hold on to at one time, or like you need to mess around with the actual loop a bit more.
yeah, or
Yeah,
just
but
generally
Reclaimer.
how quickly you break down a ship. Like there's so many things they can do. And before we say anything else, I know for a fact they came out with an ISC saying we're not happy with the current state that it's in and we're going to do something with it. It just comes down to those guys are the same guys that are doing engineering, same guys that are doing salvage, same guys that are doing mining, same guys that are doing something else, I think. So it's like, is that a priority for them right now? Probably not, which sucks. But
Well, it's a partial It's a partial priority for the economy team,
yeah, it
but
better
they're
be.
also working on ships and guns at the moment. I believe was like the other the other major thing. So
Well, they also said they went through the fucking commodities, but we haven't seen that yet. So hopefully we will.
Yeah,
But,
Quanta.
yeah. Like I just expect things to change significantly. I think when it
Yeah, and
comes
the
to
price
salvage,
changes.
but maybe not initially.
The price changes of the ships won't help either. I mean, people will grind up and buy ships they want. So
yeah, but you want that. I think that will help with some stuff. It's not necessarily going to
Yeah.
help with the salvage gameplay loop, but
No,
I
no.
think the price of ships even right now, if we had removed salvage, is not
Yeah.
ideal. Like there's a
No.
lot of really weird prices in there for a lot of ships. Like the Hammerhead, I believe, is 14 million. It really feels like
Yeah,
it should be
something like that,
significantly
yeah.
more.
Yeah, blanket raising the
like, that
prices
sort of
is not a
stuff-
good idea, but making it make
Yeah,
sense,
no,
which is something that they did,
exactly.
like military ships are worth more or cost more,
Yeah.
was a good move, I think.
Yeah. And regarding Reclaimer and its cargo, right? I mean, it has 420 SCU, but we all know that you can fit in it 2000, and it's not even like third of it full. So there needs to be some changes in the 3D model at all. I mean, the Reclaimer alone needs to be changed in order to compensate that.
It's
I think.
Aegis.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
Aegis.
yeah.
It's in Squadron 42.
Isn't it?
So it won't be changed.
In the oh, it's in one of the missions. It's just like a place like
Okay.
the
Like a
what-
location to go to or something.
No. Fuck, what was it called? The vertical slice. It's in the vertical
Yeah.
slice. So like it's part of a
I didn't
mission.
see
You
that.
see it. Yeah, there's
Right.
somebody reclaiming something. You come up to it. They're like, "This is our salvage," and it's like this conversation
Go.
that they have.
Right.
Go
and then they
F
move
away,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just like part of a cinematic in a mission. So like,
Sure.
this is just me coping that it'll get a gold standard soon. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, because there are so many things on that ship that make no sense anymore, especially with the claw and everything that's changed, and I don't know,
Insert
and also
every
that
ship
buffers.
here with that statement, though.
Yeah, especially the buffer. I mean, if you go to another reclaimer to scrap it or whatever you want to do with it, you will have 2 chunks of 500 SCUs, right?
Mhm.
You cannot fit that in one reclaimer. You will lose like half of it. If you go to 890 jump, it is one big chunk of 1,600 SCU. I mean, what will crunch that ship? Nothing. You will get like 240 out of it, and that's it. I don't know if they are planning to make bigger ships for salvage. I don't think there is bigger ship right now in the plans.
Yeah.
But Reclaimer needs to be fixed, and Vulture also. I mean, I don't know.
I like the Vulture.
Yeah,
I think-
Vulture
yeah, I
is
think
fine.
I think that all the changes that they made ended up making the Vulture like perfect, but it
Yeah.
made the Reclaimer too powerful. So
Too
like just like
powerful,
yeah,
yeah.
just like you said.
So there needs
the
to be
changes-
something changed.
Yeah, just like you
Yeah,
said,
but the changes
changes
can't make the Vulture garbage.
exactly.
No,
Like the
Vulture
changes.
is currently really great ship. I mean, if you take it out, you can fill it like 40 SCU in half an hour, and it's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a loop you want to play. But then you look at the Reclaimer for the same amount of time, it's like too much
broken.
overpowered.
Yeah, it's broken.
Yeah.
I hope what they do is maybe a little bit of refining or they got to change something with the claw of some kind, I think, or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that. But yeah,
What?
Do you
One
have
thing more
anything-
I want to ask.
yeah, just do one more
one
because
thing
we hit the
more.
2-hour mark,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
is our
that's,
limit.
that's it. I just want to ask you, Salty, because you have access to Evo. With Vulture or with Reclaimer, doesn't matter. There are
Haven't
those
used them yet.
chunks around stations that flying like those ship parts. They are currently broken in live. Did you maybe try that to salvage those? Are they working? Those markers were broke, I think, or something like that. Because those are really good things to fix, to salvage.
All markers for all resources are broken. So
Yeah, it's either.
So shit.
I
Nothing works.
could
Okay.
it was very hard to find minables. I didn't even get to salvage yet,
Yeah,
but
Oh boy. Okay.
minables were I trolled Yella for 3 hours, and there's little bubbles when you scan, that you like fly to,
Yeah,
there's,
yeah.
There's just nothing there at each bubble you go to.
Oh man, maybe
Yeah.
it's due to the test server. I don't know.
It was a little
I
bit better
hope
in the asteroid belt, but yeah, it's most likely a replication layer thing, test server. I'm looking for an IC report. If not, I'm going to make one, but I've already told them about it. Like, hey, did you know that
Okay.
this was an issue? And they were like, we'll look into it. So I don't know about salvage,
Okay,
though. So
boys.
I have to check the salvage one.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for
Warlock.
having me.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks
cheers
for
for
coming
calling
on,
in.
man.
We will hear us again for sure.
Yes. Come back soon
So,
and
yeah.
ask us why things aren't working. I can't wait to tell
Okay.
you that
Okay.
I have no idea.
I will.
All
Okay.
right,
Have
Warlock.
fun, guys.
Bye now.
Bye.
All right, so that was Warlock, and that is the end of the show. So
Yes.
again, it was a big week. It really was a big
Yeah.
week. There was a lot
Yeah,
of things.
I was surprised.
Yeah, but just not those things don't equate to the video game getting better just yet. A lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
So it is a big week coming up for Evo, and again, I really think we're going to see Wave 1 by then because they're just going to need the bodies in there.
Yep.
But who knows if they put the hangers in Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe everybody comes back to Evo and is like, let's go testing time. So we'll see. But I'm excited to see what happens this week.
Yep.
Excited to find out what ISC is about. Do we know what ISC is next week? Do we know? I don't know anything.
No, because normally he leaks it at the end of SEL. So
Yeah, so-
didn't get anything.
Yeah, we're looking forward to this week in Star Citizen, and we'll have to see.
Yep.
But
I'm really excited for next week's ATC because I should hopefully be in one of the Evocati builds this week.
yeah, so we
Which
can
means we're
discuss.
actually gonna- Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be cool. I get to experience my first time at Evocati.
When you get in, let me know, and we have like a little group in my Discord, and we all test together. So if you want some people to hang
Will
out with
do.
while you're testing, let me know. You sound like you have some Evo friends as well, though, obviously. So
I do, but a lot of them are shared.
cool.
Molden's friends with everyone, I think.
True. Yeah, he's everywhere. So yeah, we've been going pretty hard on a lot of things. I got burned out though. It's tough. It's tough because of the time of day that they decide to do their tests. But I think there's one a big play test that's coming up in like an hour or so. So I'm gonna try and check that out. But yeah, I think that's where it leaves us. I'm very excited for next week's ATC for lots of reasons. Hopefully we have that SEL rescheduled. Hopefully we have an ISC on actual gameplay stuff.
Monthly report
Monthly
this week,
report's going to
presumably.
be coming out, which should be very interesting as well. Going to be looking at that economy section and that whole new vast gameplay team, right? And what they're working on. Yeah. Hopefully it's not all stuff that we see in Evo, and hopefully it's some future stuff as well. And I always look at the narrative side because what our last caller was like, hey man, why can't I go up to somebody and get a mission? I'm feel the same as him as Warlock, looking for that more. I don't
more
know,
engaging like mission sort of.
The Moby-Glass like breaks the personal feelings out of the game a lot. So I'm in agreement with him. I'd love to see more stuff like that. But I don't have my phone today. But I have this. Is this good?
Mike, how am I supposed to call your remote?
I don't know.
Guys, don't be like Mike. And remember to answer the call.
Thanks for watching today, guys.